May 3rd, 7:10 a.m. In exam halls across India, the morning light catches a scene of total concentration. Thousands of students sit in a heavy silence, where only the sound of ticking clocks and scratching pens remains. For the aspirants in these rooms, this hour represents years of sacrificed sleep and immense family savings. Many have come from rural villages, carrying the financial weight of parents who bet everything on a single seat in a medical college. Outside the gates, those same parents wait in the heat. They hold their children's admit cards like talismans, trusting that the years of struggle are about to be validated by a fair result. This entire system rests on a specific social contract. The state guarantees that if a student provides the labor and the honesty, the system will provide a transparent path to a better life. That contract began to fray the moment the exam ended. As students turn on their phones to share their relief, they were met instead by a flood of screenshots and messages claiming the question papers had been available for purchase hours before the first bell. These initial reports soon multiplied. What looked like isolated incidents in a few cities began to connect into a map of organized, systemic irregularities that touched nearly every corner of the country. When you weigh the number of students against the estimated scale of the leaks, the mathematical reality changes. In a competitive ranking where one mark separates thousands of candidates, a small cluster of compromised results makes a fair merit list impossible to achieve. It forces a difficult question. What happens to the ambition of millions of young people when they find out the rules were broken before they even started? Within weeks, the digital outrage moved into the physical world, focusing on a single point in New Delhi. This crowd is composed of first-time protesters, exhausted students who traveled from remote states to stand shoulder to shoulder on the pavement. They arrived with two clear demands: a transparent, time-bound investigation by central agencies, and a total overhaul of the testing infrastructure to ensure this never happens again. As they occupied the streets, digital campaigns ensured the issue remained at the top of the national news cycle, turning a student grievance into a central point of political debate. Jantar Mantar, usually a site for historic observation, has become a physical manifestation of a generation waiting for an answer. Massive crowds meeting unmoving barricades create physical and political pressure. Protesters describe tense standoffs and a heavy response from security forces trying to clear the area. The administration maintains that these measures are necessary for public order. The students, however, see it as an attempt by the state to ignore their legitimate concerns. This friction eventually led to a specific political objective. The protesters began calling for Union Education Minister Dharmender Pradhan to accept moral responsibility for the failure and resign. The government's official stance remains firm. They have refused the call for a resignation, stating that their priority is the ongoing investigation and the legal process outlined in the official record. This battle has moved past the details of one exam paper. It is now an argument over who at the highest levels of leadership must answer for a breakdown in the system they manage. The implications of this protest reach past the medical entrance exam. When a single test involving millions of aspirants is compromised, it creates a shadow that falls over every other institution in the country. Competitive exams are the primary way citizens interact with the state's promise of fairness. When that pillar crumbles, the structure of meritocracy tilts. If students believe outcomes are predetermined, they stop competing. The danger is a generation shifting permanently towards cynicism. The true damage isn't found in the invalid test scores. It's found in the moment a young person decides that honest hard work is no longer the best way to get ahead in their country. Today, despite court petitions and agency raids, the deadlock remains. The investigations are ongoing, but the fundamental sense of uncertainty hasn't lifted. These students are still on the streets, using constitutional means to demand a solution. They are holding the state to its own highest ideals. History will remember the details of the leak, but it will also record the resolve of these individuals who chose to fight a systemic failure through democratic protest. A nation's future is built on the trust of its youth. Right now, that trust is waiting on the streets of Delhi for the system to prove it is still worthy of their labor.